usual, but yeah, a few things today. So yeah, here we go with today's country, which is Finland. So yeah, here we go with Finland. See what Finland has to offer us. So yeah, as Finland's been occupied since about 9000 BC, but it's probably a little more like it's a little more like Russia and Sweden and all. It was kind of the clashes between both of them. So yeah, we were going until the middle of the 12th century. The geographical area now known as Finland was a political vacuum. Everyone just thinks about western neighbours and the Catholic Church there, and the eastern neighbour Novgorod, now known as Russia, and its Protestant roots and all. Sweden came out on top with a peace treaty signed in 1323 between Sweden and Novgorod. Assigned only eastern Finland to Novgorod, and the western and southern parts of Finland were tied to Sweden and the Western European cultural sphere. While Karelia became part of Russian Byzantine world. As a consequence of the Swedish domination, the Swedish legal and social system took root in Finland, and feudalism was not a part of that system, and Finnish peasants were never really serfs and all. And they also retained personal freedom, and most of Finland's important centre was the town of Turku, found in the middle of the 13th century, and it was also the bishop's seat. And the Reformation, started by Luther in the early 16th century, reached Finland and Sweden. And the Catholic Church lost outside the Lutheran faith and all. The Reformation set in motion a great rise in the Finnish culture, as the New Testament was translated into Finnish in 1548 by the Bishop of Turku, Mikael Agricola, who lived from 1510 to 1557, who brought the Reformation to Finland and created written Finnish. And the entire Bible appeared in Finnish by 1642. And during this period, its great power, from 1617 to 1721, Sweden extended its realm around the Baltic, and due to weakness in Russia, the Finnish border was pushed further east. And with consolidation of the administration in Stockholm, uniform Swedish rule was extended to Finland, and in the 17th century Swedes were often appointed high officers in Finland, which strengthened the position of the Swedish language in Finland. But when the Swedes lost the position of such great power in the early 18th century, Russian pressure on Finland only increased. As Russia conquered Finland in the 1808-1809 war with Sweden, and during the Swedish period, Finland was merely a group of provinces that was not really a national entity as such, and was governed from Stockholm, and the capital of the Finnish provinces at the time. But when Finland was joined Russia in 1809, it became an autonomous Grand Duchy, and the Grand Duke was a Russian emperor whose representative in Finland was the Governor General, and Finland's highest governing body was the Senate, whose members were Finns. Matters pertaining to Finland's high were presented to the Emperor in St. Petersburg by the Finnish Minister Secretary of State, and this meant that the administration of Finland was handled directly by the Emperor, and the Russian authorities were therefore unable to interfere. And the enlightened Russian Emperor Alexander I was Grand Duke of Finland from 1809 to 1825 and gave Finland extensive autonomy, therefore creating the Finnish state. In 1812, Helsinki was made the capital of Finland, and the university, which had been founded in Turku in 1640, was moved to Helsinki in 1828, and as a Finnish national movement gained momentum during the Russian period. As a Finnish national epic, the Kalevala, created by Elias Lönnrot, was published in 1835, and a language decree issued in 1863 by Alexander II marked the beginning of a process through which Finnish became an official administrative language, although only 1/7 of the Finnish population spoke Swedish as its first language, as Swedish retained the dominant position until the beginning of the 20th century. And then the Finnish Diet was convened in 1863, after a break of more than half a century. And from then on, the Diet met regularly, and active legislative work began in Finland. And the Conscription Acts of 1878 gave Finland an army of its own. And the obliteration of Finnish separatism, a policy known as Russification, started the first era of oppression in 1899 to 1905 and continued during the second era of 1909 to 1917. In the 1905 revolution, Russia gave Finland a shock break from and a new legislative body to replace all the states were created in 1906. And at the time, this was the most radical parliamentary form in Europe, because Finland moved in one bound from a four-state diet to a unicameral parliament and universal suffrage. As Finnish women were some of the first women in Europe to have the gain the rights to vote in Parliament, in parliamentary elections and all. And on the 6th of December 1917, Parliament approved a Declaration of Independence, drawn up by the Senate under the leadership of P.E. Svinhufvud, who lived from 1861 to 1944, and at the same time the breach between the parties of the left and right had become irreconcilable, and at the end of January 1918, the left-wing party staged a coup, and the government was forced to flee Helsinki in the ensuing civil war, ended in May with victory for the government's troops, led by General Gustav Mannerheim, who lived from 1867 to 1951. And Finland became a republic in the summer of 1919. And K.J. Ståhlberg, who lived from 1865 to 1952, was elected as the first president. And the independent republic developed quickly during the 1920s. And the women sustained in the Civil War were alleviated by conciliatory measures such as including the several Social Democrats in the government. In the 1929-1927, they formed a minority government on their own. And although Finland first pursued a foreign policy based on cooperation with Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania and Poland, the League of Nations was already a cornerstone of Finnish security policy in the 1920s. And the inability of the League of Nations to safeguard world peace became evident. In the 1930s, Parliament approved a Scandinavian orientation in 1935. in August 1939, Germany and the Soviet Union signed a non-aggression pact, which included a secret protocol relegating Finland to the Soviet sphere of interest. And when Finland refused to allow the Soviet Union to build a military base on its territory, latter revoked the non-aggression pact of 1932 and attacked Finland on November 30th, 1939. And the Winter War ended in peace. Treaty drawn up in Moscow on March 13, 1940, giving southeastern Finland to the Soviet Union. When Germany invaded the Soviet Union in the summer of 1931. When Germany invaded the Soviet Union in the summer of 1941, Finland entered the war as a co-belligerent with Germany as a continuation war, ended in armistice in September 1944. In addition to the areas already lost to Russia, Finland also seceded Samor on the Arctic Ocean. The terms of the armistice were confirmed by the Paris Peace Treaty of 1947. As Marshal Mannheim was made President of the Republic towards the end of the war, he was succeeded in 1946 by J.K. Paasikivi, who lived from 1870 to 1956. His aim was to improve relations with the Soviet Union. As the Olympic Games were held in Helsinki in 1952 and in 1955, Finland joined both the United Nations and the Nordic Council. Among the major achievements of the Nordic cooperation was the establishment of a joint Nordic labour market in 1954 and a passport union in 1957. It was Urho Kekkonen was elected president in 1956 and worked to increase Finland's latitude in foreign policy by pursuing an active policy of neutrality. This was evident for instances in initiatives taken by Finland, such as the Conference of Security and Cooperation in Europe, held in Helsinki in the summer of 1975. As Kekkonen led Finland for a quarter of a century before resigning due to poor health, as Mauno Koivisto was elected president in 1982. Yes?
I bring glad tidings.
What is it, Isabel?
To you and your family, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I bring you bras and Snickers.
Okay. Eastbound.
Stay! I must go down quickly. He's coming for me. Quickly! I'm being attacked.
He's still at the top of the ladders, is he? Bit early for the Christmas songs and all, but in the spring of 1987 marked the turning point in the government when a Conservative National Coalition Party and Social Democrats formed a majority government that would remain in power until 1991. And after the 1991 election, the so-called Social Democrats insisted maybe a little scared of the cat, were left in opposition. A new government was formed by the Conservatives and the Centre Party, most formerly the Agrarian Party. And the people that took place at the end of the 80s and early 90s, including the dissolution of the Soviet Union, was evident for Finland in both liberalised intellectual atmosphere and in greater latitude of foreign policy. Finland recognised Russia's position as a successor of the Soviet Union, and the Treaty of Good Relations between the neighbouring countries was concluded in January 1992. and the opportunity for Finnish membership for the European Community, EC, formerly now the EU, increased greatly when Sweden submitted its membership application and the Soviet Union was dissolved in 1991. And Finland submitted its own application to the EC in March 1992. And by March, in the Parliament of the EC now, by then the European Union, approved the application in May 1994, and in the referendum held in Finland in October 1997, 57% of supporters voted supported membership. And in November 1994, Parliament approved Finnish EU members as by the beginning of 1995 as a vote of 152 to 45. In 1995 parliamentary election, the Finnish Centre Party suffered a crushing defeat and Paavo Lipponen, the new chairman of the Social Democratic Party, formed a unique government by Finnish standards. Apart from its backbone comprising of Social Democrats, no National Liberation Front, National Coalition, the government included Greens, the left-wing alliance and the Swedish People's Party. Parliamentary elections of spring 2003 also changed the political composition of the government, as the National Coalition Party was excluded from the Centre Party leader, Anneli, sorry if I botched this, Anneli Jäätteenmäki's government, which comprises Centre Party, Social Democrats, the Swedish People's Party. As Jäätteenmäki herself under political pressure, soon had to resign, and in June 2003, Martti Vähänen became Prime Minister. And in 2006, an unexpected close presidential election took place as incumbent President Tarja Halonen, represented the left side of the political spectrum, defeated opponent Sauli Niinisto from the Conservative National Coalition Party by less than 4 percentage points. In elections of 2007, the Parliament shifted notably to the right-wing National Coalition Party, scored a big victory, and the Social Democratic Party suffered a loss. And Prime Minister Martti Vähänen from the Centre Party continued in his post, gathering together a Conservative centre-West coalition government, which began its term in April 2007. Of 20 ministers, 8 represented the Centre Party, 8 represented the National Coalition Party, and the Green Party and Swedish People's Party were also granted ministerial posts. And Finland's security policy has recently been the subject of debate, and adding to its spices the closure of the enlargements of the European Union and NATO in 2004, and whence placed Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Finland's neighbours to the south, among the new members of both organisations. In June 2008, Finland's parliament approved the changes to the constitution of the European Union in the Treaty of Lisbon. So yeah, history's done. Now moving on to language, and maybe a little bit more than in Denmark and Finland, Denmark and Sweden, sorry. But yeah, despite being a Nordic country, Scandinavia consists more predominantly of like Sweden, Norway and Denmark. Sharing of Europe's longest border with Russia, the Finnish language is a kind of like a tall blonde stranger in the mix of Scandinavia. Now, as the origins of the language, as many people know, is not necessarily as the same as the origins of the people who speak it, or the culture they've adopted. as the theories on the roots of Finns range from the indigenous or out Egyptologists suggested in the 1930s that it was the Finns who gave birth to ancient Egyptian culture, to be likely that the area has been populated by various ethnic groups arriving from Eastern and Southern Europe following the retiring sheets of ice approximately during the last ice stage about 10,000 years ago. And those people with a spoken language that has now been lost and all. There were a few place names not derivable to Finnish might have their origins in them. As Lapland was inhabited by another people known as the Sami, as a prehistoric version of their language, a kind of Sami, and probably also spoken further south, though it's not really known. And the genetics of a language where genetic testing and other handy tools exist for those interested in the origins of people. Researching the history of a language is notoriously difficult, particularly when there are no documents written in that language that could be compared against each other to find changes over time. And to try and uncover the developments of a language, historical linguists have to look into sounds, words and grammatical structures. A lot of different languages to find similarities. There's a large number of similarities between two languages, meaning that they probably share the same roots. Well, I can probably assume that words standing for certain things are older than others, and by comparing those to the same words in another language we construct our prophetical proto-language from their shared ancestors. According to the Swadesh list published by the American linguist Martin Swadesh in the 1970s, there were about 100 of the words including fish, heart, thigh, sun and eye. Yeah? Yeah? No. Go and get some milk quickly, so yeah. See you soon. Part 2. So bye for now.